honestly, like if you know anything about the music industry, you would read that and be like, these guys are fucking scumbags. But the really think about it, it's like these grown adults, they're preying on these kids that they don't know what's going on, and they'll
Uh-huh.
pass, oh, we're doing your favor, look how good this is. But like if anybody that knows anything about the industry read these contracts, you just like laugh at them, so
Awesome. Hey, Curtis, I'm Adam, by the way, and this is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about your new album and everything else.
cool. Sounds good. Nice to meet you, Adam.
Nice to meet you as well. So, first off, talk to me. You were born in Nepal, and then what? Kind of moved around quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a pretty convoluted story, but yeah, I was born in Nepal, moved to India, then I went back, then I moved to Germany, then I went back, then I went to Canada, moved around there, then I went to America. So moved around,
Wow. Yeah.
and then I came back. So I've just been moving around a lot. Yeah.
Wow. Is that was that difficult as a child? I mean, it sounds like you live in a bunch of different countries too. So not only adapting to probably new culture and new people and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, when I was 10, when I moved from like when I lived in Germany, it wasn't like a huge deal because I was too young to like really realize it, I think. But
Okay.
this bird is fucking loud, man. Jeez. See
I
how loud it is?
can hear it a little bit, but it's all good. They want to get on the conversation.
Looking for attention, man. But then when I moved to Canada when I was 10, that was really hard for me.
Uh-huh.
Learning English, learning a new culture. But I mean, at this point, I think I'm kind of addicted to moving. Like that sounds kind of insane, but I literally cannot see myself staying anywhere for more than a few months because I just get like an itch to leave because I've always been that way since I was a kid. So yeah.
Interesting. So, like, after getting to Canada, did you move? You said you ended up then moving to the United States. Were you in a specific state for a good chunk of time, or are you moving around even the states quite often?
In the United States, in North Carolina, we moved a lot. Like we were in Charlotte, we were in Cary, we were in Morrisville. We were moving quite a bit. I went to college in Greensboro, so it was like every year or so I moved spots.
But
Um,
still, sounds like within North Carolina.
Carolina when I was here at least, and then I moved to LA this past year. So I was there for a year. Now I'm back. Just trying to figure out what life is gonna take me, where it's gonna take me now.
Okay, so you're back in North Carolina now.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even moved in yet. I'm actually in an Airbnb and I have all my studio stuff. I got to move into a spot in a few days, but yeah.
Wow. Well, the place you're in looks nice. I mean, at least the woodwork there and
But it's nice,
the
nice trees. There's a
the
lot more.
birds are nice.
There's a lot more space in North Carolina. There's more time, also. I feel like than LA.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. I'm from San Diego originally, so I was really close to Los Angeles, and then I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, or south of Nashville about 2.5 years ago, and it's totally different. I mean, you have more space. There's
Yeah,
like greenery and farms. It's just so different than living in California.
yeah. True.
So how did you get into music? Do you come from like a creative household when it comes to music or art or anything like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, my dad was a poet. I mean, he still writes poems. So when he was a
Oh
kid,
wow.
write poems and stuff. So I remember when I was a kid, he was sort of helped me write my own poems when I was a kid. And I was always like drawing and doing creative stuff, making comics when I was a kid. Started doing graphic design, and then when I was 14, I was really into like Odd Future. I was
Mm-hmm.
into a lot of like DIY music going on. So when I was 14, I remember I just pirated like some music software, and I had just like watch YouTube videos, just trying to figure out. But nobody actually made music in my family. Like it wasn't like I could ask anyone for help. And I never took any lessons or classes as a kid, so I just kind of like had to figure it out.
Wow. So it's all just basically YouTube and you trial and
Yeah,
error.
not even just like trial and error, just like making terrible music for years, but like seeing someone that I like and trying to emulate their sound and then failing and then coming up with something new. So that's sort of how everything's happened, even to this day.
Uh-huh. When you started to make your own music, were you just creating what, like beats or something in Fruity Loops or some
Always
program like that?
but man, I was really anxious. I was really shy because I've never done it, and I remember I was trying to sing in my room, and you know, my mom could hear, and she would like laugh and stuff. And I remember the first
Ouch.
I remember the first day I told her I was gonna start singing, like it was like everyone was laughing. My family, it was like a big thing, you know. So I don't know. I was pretty secretive about it. I was pretty shy about it, but tried to do it more and more. I remember in the beginning I was just like whispering into the mic so no one would hear me, you
Oh,
know.
sure.
And I went to college. I was making a bit more music then. But yeah, I mean, eventually you just have to be like, fuck it, man. I just gotta do it, you know. So yeah, I mean, I do it now
That's funny.
professionally.
Do you ever bring that back to your mom? Be like, remember when you were laughing at me, and just
Yeah,
hand her like your platinum record from Canada? You're just like, oh, you can take.
yeah,
I have two of these. You can take one.
yeah. I do, and it's funny, like, you know, even to this day, they don't always get it. Like even like a few months ago, they're always like telling me to. Oh, they're still like telling me to go back to college and like all this stuff sometimes. And like I was like, Mom, it's like real. Like I have a job. Like this is what I do. You know what I mean? And I think when they went to my show for the first time, because they had never seen me live, I did a show in North Carolina. I was like sold out. There's so many people. Like we like turned the fuck up. Like it was incredible. And I think after that show, she was like, "Oh, this is like a real thing. Like
You
this is."
understood at that point.
I think
That's
so.
funny.
I get it now. Let's see.
I Yeah, I have a similar story as far as that goes as well. Like I was on the radio in California for like almost 20 years, and my parents would still be like, so like, you know, are you gonna like, you know, get a my mom would like send me like jobs and stuff, and I'm
Yeah,
like, what the hell are you doing?
yeah,
Like, when was the last time I asked you for money? Not only that, but like she didn't understand. She's like, yeah, that's a cool hobby you have. I'm like, no, this is like
yeah.
legitimately a career. Like, what the hell are you talking about? But yeah, I think especially, I mean, at least my parents' age and stuff like that, almost like that boomer crowd doesn't quite get like, oh, you can make money in art. Like they don't, it's like, I thought you had to go to college and then, you know, you get a job at this company and you work there forever and you have a 401k and all this other shit. But it's like, that doesn't even happen really.
Yeah, and I think it's also like an immigrant thing because for immigrants, like education is sort of the only way out of the situation.
Oh, sure.
So like a very like culturally ingrained thing, and it's like super stigmatized to not do that, you know? So it's hard because for something like that, like you just have to eat shit until you can prove it, and like you hope to God that you can prove it one day, or you're just like a fucking disappointment to everyone. So
That's a great way to put it. You just eat shit until you can prove it. That's
yeah.
funny, man. But you ended up going to college and you were still doing music. What were you pursuing at the time? Like, was there something that
And
you were interested in, or was it just like, okay, I'm going to do this for my parents to just kind of check this box off?
yeah, type shit. I did not care about college. I mean, it was fun for a little bit when I went, but like, dude, I was switching majors like every semester because I just like honestly, the reason I went to college was in my head. I was like buying time until I could do music full time, and I was like, okay, I'm just like gonna be famous soon, so I'm just gonna do this until I'm famous. Like that was literally like the whole thing, the whole time, because I never get a job. Like I remember my mom would talk about like, oh yeah, after you graduate, you can get a job, and I would be like, oh my god, kill me. Like I don't want to do that. Like that sounds fucking because like okay, if I do really good in college, what's my reward? Like I have to go get a job. Like it's fucking terrible. I don't
Yeah, and
want.
it's not even a guarantee, right?
Yeah,
You could do great and somebody else could do subpar and still get a better job. It doesn't, there's no like, okay, I'm going to graduate and if you score this high, then you're going to get this much money and get this job.
but yeah, I was there for marketing, and then I was like, I hate all the business majors, and then I did film, and I was like, I don't know how to make money from this. Then I did psychology. I was like, okay, and then I just eventually ended up dropping out. So
Okay. Well, you're kind of doing like some sort of psychology now with your lyrics and everything else, right?
I think what's interesting is like the film studies helped, the psychology helped. I don't think the marketing helped actually, because my idea was okay, I'm gonna go to college for marketing, and they're gonna teach me how to market my music. I guess that's my thought process. It's
Yeah,
like
that's smart.
fucking no, they're lame, bro. They don't get it. I mean, they were like, you need to cut your hair, you need to do all this shit. I was like, fuck you, dude. You don't know anything.
Oh,
Shut up.
wow. So they were kind of trying to teach you
Yeah,
how to market yourself. They're like,
on the,
okay.
they're very like on the books. Like this is how you have to like intern here, and you have to like fucking suck this like steel dick. Like, I don't care, dude. Like,
Oh, that's funny.
it's just so like structured. Like, I could not do it. It was too much for me.
For sure. Well, when you were doing your music, even in college, like you said, you were obviously shy about showing your stuff or even like singing. Like, at what point did you kind of get some courage, or was there a moment that happened that you were like had some validation where you wanted to be like, oh wow, like okay, people are digging this. Like, I'm gonna start showing people more of what I'm doing.
You know, it all kind of happened step by step. It wasn't like this one moment, but I remember the first time I made a song that everybody liked, and it wasn't even just music nerds or my roommates, was I made this song called The Feelings Tend to Stay the Same. And I had like Lyrical Lemonade posted, I had all these people posted, and I had like, and I remember my like Nepali like family friend was like, whoa, this is you. Like, there was just this like disbelief about that song being me. And everybody was like, this is no way this is you. And they were like, yo, this is like Post Malone, like this could be on the radio. And I was like, oh shit. So I remember that was the first time I was like, oh, okay, people can like my music. And I like had this like whole like, I was so scared after that because like, oh my god, this is the best song I'll ever make, and I'll never make a song as good as this. I was really scared, but it was all like, step by step, and then stuck a few months ago, and that like blew everything out the water. So that was mostly it. But
Okay, yeah, it was Stunning. That happened in 2020, right? That's when it kind of blew
yeah,
up.
made Stunning at the end of like 2019, I think, near the ending half of 2019, and then I dropped it in 2020.
Was that during like, I know it did, obviously it kind of got its go on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And with that, like, was the pandemic at that point, or like, tell me, like, where were you? Were you still in college, or like when and where were you when that started to
Yeah.
work?
So I remember the reason Stunning happened was really because of the pandemic, because I had just left college and I was doing online classes. And
Mhm.
then I was like still working I was working at this like place called Tropical Smoothie near my house. I just walked there and
Okay.
like smoothie job. So I would go do my smoothie work, and then I would come home and do like my homework for school, and then I would spend like 2 hours making music, whatever time I had. But then the pandemic happened, and then the job would like stop hiring me because of the pandemic.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to serve smoothies,
Yeah,
I'm sure,
I,
right?
I was just like playing Legend of Zelda every day for like a week or two straight. Like I would wake up and just be like fucking in my underwear just playing Zelda every day. And then by like the second week, I was like, fuck, dude, I feel bad. Like I feel really guilty. I should not be doing this. And me and my brother were just like, dude, like let's try to get famous. Like we have so much time. Let's just try to get famous. And I had like teased this song called Stunning that I already had. I like didn't even know it was a good song. Like I thought it was kind of stupid. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't the album, because it was just a leftover. But I teased it, and like a similar thing happened where like so many people that don't care about my music usually like were like, oh my god, this is incredible. You know what I mean? Like like people's moms were hitting me up, just like random people that don't care about my music were hitting me up. So I was like, oh, this is like one of those songs. Like people like this one. So yeah, I mean, it was the beginning of TikTok. Like honestly, like before I came along, I can't remember like another artist that had like promoted themselves and became really big on TikTok to that degree before. But yeah, I was on TikTok. It was a lot easier to blow up back then too, because it was just the beginning. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think a few times on TikTok, and yeah, I went crazy.
Wow. What was that like? Like, I mean, having that moment where the song just takes off, you're like probably like, whoa, we were talking about, getting famous and having something happen, and then it did, right? It doesn't sound like it happened that like
Yeah,
much later, right? It was kind of
yeah,
sounds pretty quick as far as that went.
pretty. I mean, yeah, like I think we were uploading. I think we uploaded like 6, 7 videos before it blew up, but
Uh-huh.
there were like a lot of videos. But I mean, by now on TikTok, you have to post like fucking 200 times before anything happens. But back then, we were like posting 6 times. I was like, I don't know, should we give up? And then eventually, I did like one thing, and it blew up, and then the rest of them blew up. But dude, it was fucking crazy. It was really exciting. I was really anxious too, but I remember, bro, me and my brother were just staying up all night. We're like, dude, new another notification. And it was like in those movies where they're like, ding, 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 ding. It was like that. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was like a slot machine, right? You're just like,
Yeah.
pull it. Oh my God. Wow. And so was the song was done and you just what, put a clip up?
Me and my brother would well, we always thought it was like ironic because I always thought the whole like dancing shit was like really cringy. Like I thought it was stupid. But me and
Right.
my like, oh yeah, we're doing it ironically, so it's fine. So we would just like make up a dance video and we would like try to do the whole TikTok thing and like it was all like supposed to be like an inside joke between us, but it obviously wasn't because it was like a formula. But yeah, we were just making these like dance videos like every day for like 2 weeks and yeah, I think it was just early. You know, it was like the gold rush. Like I think it was just right time because if I was promoting it now, I don't think it would have worked out.
Yeah, but I mean, for the song to, I've interviewed other artists that have had like kind of that moment on TikTok, but then to get people to not only like it there, but to then either open it up on another app, like stream it on Spotify or go to YouTube. I mean, that's like a whole other step that
Yeah,
somebody has to take, right? I mean, like it's easy to go flip through the TikTok and be like, oh, like this is a funny video, or this I like the sound, and I'm gonna save it, or I'm gonna repurpose it. But like to actually then go, oh, okay, I gotta go find it on Spotify, or like, okay, I gotta go find it on YouTube, and now I'm gonna watch it on YouTube. Like that, people's minds or people's like attention spans are so short that they to take an extra step or two really means that the song was, really impactful.
yeah. I like still don't get it. Like I still, I'm like, why this song? Like I do not get it to this day. I like listen to him. Like what magic is in here for like billions of people to enjoy it that much? Like I don't get it, but it's cool. I mean, it's a fun song. But the thing with TikTok, I mean, Stunning was that it had already blown up before the song was out. So there was a lot
Oh,
of hype.
okay.
Then I uploaded it, but then I had to delete it and take it down again for some like purpose, like for some legal stuff. So when
Mhm.
I took it down, I was really anxious. But then the hype just like kept building, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, this song's about to drop!" So when it dropped, it had already like it was crazy already. Like immediately, everybody was like rushing to it. So I think that's sort of like kept it going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, having the anticipation of the
Yeah.
actual song coming out. It's funny. I was you on your Wikipedia page. And Wikipedia has burned me in the past, but it says "Stunning" has been streamed over 35 million times on Spotify, and then you go to Spotify and it like nearly has 300 million.
Uh, I have a plaque of it from like damn near like 3 years ago or like 2.5 years ago. It's a billion streams. So,
That's
it's,
crazy. That
yeah,
is so crazy, man. A billion. Think about that. That's like 1/9 of the world.
wow. That's so insane. I had never thought that. That's really crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, a billion people. That's yeah, it's wild to think about how big that is. I mean, so that
Crazy.
happens, right? And then is this at this point, are people and labels must be like, hey, who's this guy? Like, who's Curtis Waters? Like, what do you have going on? Like, or was it another thing where, like, tell me kind of what came of that? Like, obviously, like it's awesome to have the streams and people's attention and stuff, but it's like at that point, are you like, okay, I got to put out something else like right now, or are like record labels being like, hey, what's this guy up to? Like, what kind of followed from that?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was cool, but it was like a lot of bullshit too. I was just on calls every day and like like people don't really care. Like they just see a cash, like they just see like the dollar sign, and they'll come in and they'll be like, "Dude, I really love your story and your immigrant." Blah, blah. They'll like just say all this stupid shit. They don't care.
Uh-huh.
A lot of bullshit calls, but it worked out. I mean, it was cool. We landed with a good partner. I don't know. It was I was naive also in a way because I had never done like the music industry shit. Like I was just a kid. I was in college. I was like I didn't know anything about the legalities of it, so I definitely made
Right.
some mistakes there. But I was like literally like doing like a meeting with a label or a manager, and then immediately after, I'd like be googling like what is publishing, what is like how do you get a lawyer? Like I didn't know none of that. So I don't know. Yeah, it was very confusing and like gave me a lot of anxiety, but I think it ended up working out. Which is cool.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I could imagine how overwhelming that would be, especially since if you didn't, it's not like you came from a family that had experience in this industry or anything. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
now what? Like, what's publishing? Like, these people want to do something with me, but you don't know, am I going to get taken advantage of? Like, what is yeah, exactly. I can see how overwhelming that could become.
Yeah, there was a lot of shitty deals that I almost signed, that I almost got into looking back, and I'm like, damn. Like, honestly, like, if you know anything about the music industry, you would read that and be like, these guys are fucking scumbags. But they think about it, it's like these grown adults, they're preying on these kids that they know they don't know what's going on. They'll
Uh-huh.
pass, oh, we're doing you a favor, look how good this is. But like, if anybody that knows anything about the industry read these contracts, you just like laugh at them. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
It should look
I
back on this.
I mean, yeah, if you don't have if you just go, okay, this person is a part of this or has this credit or success, like I could see it being very easy to be like, oh yeah, I want to jump on board. Like that person has had success with X, Y, and Z. Like, why can't I be a part of that? But yeah, if you look into it,
Dude,
maybe you aren't making any money.
that's crazy. Right before Stunning dropped, this, like, it wasn't a label. It was like fucking three guys. They were like trying to sign Stunning for $1,000. Not even to me, $1,000 for marketing. And I wanted it so bad, like, because I had never like gotten a deal before. And I was like, oh my God, this is like gonna work. And they like pulled out on it last minute. And I was so mad. And that was kind of why I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna blow it up myself. I don't care. And then once that started working out, they would not leave me alone. They're like,
Oh, I
bro,
bet.
like, dude, you guys are fucking stupid.
You're
But
like,
yeah.
you know that $1,000? Add two more zeros to that thing, at least. um, I was gonna say, so you had was Pity Party done prior to Stunning, or was it like, okay, that's works, I have some other songs, let me put an album together?
Yeah, I mean, Pity Party had dropped like damn near like 6 months already before the official release after Stunning.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, I mean, it had already come out. So after that, after Stunning blew up, I kind of like took down all my music, and yeah, we just like dropped the same album again, and then we just put Stunning and System on it. Those like two new songs. But yeah, it was already out. It was already done.
Okay, and you, from, again, I've been burned from this before, but you recorded that at your dorm in college?
Yeah, a lot of that was in my college dorm. Some of them were like in random apartments I was staying in with my family. Most of it, when I think about it, was in my college dorm. Yeah.
That's wild. Is that where you did Stunning as well and System, or was that
No,
later?
system was when I had moved back to my like left college, and I had moved back to my mom's house, and I was in this one room downstairs. Yeah.
But still,
I,
I mean, to do all of that, it's so crazy to think like you can have a song that has been streamed 1 billion times, and it wasn't done like in, RCA or some big, studio setting. Like you put a whole album out that was done basically in a dorm or at your mom's in one room. Like that's so
yeah,
wild to think.
dude. I mean, even to this day, I don't think I've ever recorded in a studio. Like, I don't. There's not been a single song to this day that I've recorded in studio. Like, well, because like I produce myself, I like to like record myself, I like to mix myself and all this stuff. So I don't know. It's just, I think it's like sterile. I don't like that kind of working condition. It feels too rigid. It feels too professional. I don't like how that feels. Like I like to be in a room.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously working. So even with this new album
Yeah.
with Bad Son, like that was all done just on your own, completely. I mean,
Yeah, I mean they're not. I mean not completely. Like there's certain songs that I recorded with my roommate, and I had like help with different producers, and when I mixed it, it goes through my roommate who does the final mix,
oh,
and
really? So it's really in house. I mean, obviously.
yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean I can't think of anything that was like very industry. It was all like homies and shit. It was yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, to be able to have the freedom to just, pick and choose who you want to work with, but not only that, having your roommate be good enough and talented enough to be like, yeah, dude, I'll mix it, and you guys together are working, and then having the success that you have.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean it was co-executive, so I executive produced it and then co-executive produced by like my two best friends, which is my roommate who mixes my music and we co-produce together, and my manager who manages, you know. But like every time I would do a song, like I would show my roommate, and then I would like go to West Hollywood where he lives, and like there'd be a bunch of guys there. I'd play it for them and like, okay, how I feel about this, you know. And then I would look at people's faces, and if it lights up, I'm like, okay, I did good. But if it's like, oh yeah, it's cool, I'm like, fuck, I have to go back and like make it way better, because it had to be like extreme, like everything had to be extremely just incredible before it could land on the album. So
yeah, with that, like, I mean, coming off of an album that's doing so well, and these records that are getting millions and billions of streams, going into Bad Son, was that something that you were like, oh, is this gonna work again, or did you not even think about it? You're like, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna put out the best music I can, and it's either gonna work or it's not.
dude, no, it was fucking paralyzing. I like did not like, I'm still kind of like stuck by it sometimes. But you know, when you're like 20 and you get like a billion streams and you've never had success before, and it was on a song that you didn't even like, and it doesn't even represent anything you do, it's like a total mind fuck. And then, you know, you have your manager and your labels, and everyone's just like, all right, what's the next one? What's the next one? You know, so that was weird. So I was pretty stuck on it for a long time. I was just like emotionally very like paralyzed, and it took me a long time to sort of get over it. And there's a lot of conversations I had with, you know, my friend Amit, who became my manager later on, and a lot of community that I developed in LA. And yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm just like, oh, I mean, I'm making the greatest music I've ever made. I feel incredible. I'm proud. You know, it'd be great if one of these songs blow up and like get a billion streams, like obviously. But I mean, even if not, I'm really proud of the work I'm doing. Right, so it feels good to release it.
Yeah. And I mean, even that, it's like it's not like the album did nothing. I mean, and it's not been out like very long. And it's like you have songs on there with multiple millions of streams, right? I mean, it's not like you put it out and like, okay, and then you see like the less than 1,000
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Spotify, like next to all the songs. Like all of them have so many streams. And it's like, and the vulnerability on the record, like the first song, I'm like, damn, like you really, dove deep inside, in your feelings.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, the thing about the streams is it's like infinite, right? Because I've had a billion streams. So it's like someone that's like fucking done heroin and is at the highest peak. And then you come back and like someone gives you like, um, I don't know, like a free t-shirt from you, like from a college. I'm like, oh, this t-shirt would be so amazing if I didn't have a shirt, but I'm already like addicted to heroin. So this is not as cool as heroin. You know what I
This would be
mean?
so cool if it had like heroin on it.
That's how I felt for a long time. So for me, it's like important to not even think about streams or external
Right,
value,
right, right.
because that's just like a competition that you can never win. Because I already like
You
did
already
so.
won.
So yeah, I already like this thing, like, because you can't compete against yourself unless you're like really playing that game. So for me, I have to completely ignore all the shit and then just be like, okay, forget the statistics. Like, what's the music? Like, when you listen to the music, how does it feel? What is it about? You know?
Mhm. And
Yeah.
when you went into this album, I mean, it's very vulnerable. I mean, like I said, that first song, and then I even saw you have the video with just like all this old footage and stuff. That's really cool. Like, was that hard to like, not only show this stuff that it was your very personal childhood videos, but like to talk about certain things? Was that something that you had to kind of ease into, or were you like not worried about it, or?
I think the only song that was hard for me was the Spinal track, American Dream. But I
Mhm.
think the rest were, I mean, it came pretty natural. And when I'm making music, I'm not like imagining other people are going to hear it. I just make music that's like super personal to me. Um, yeah, I mean, I love Inner Child. It doesn't feel like I think I was worried about how my parents would feel because it's sort of personal to their life. I'm a pretty
Right.
open, but they've taken pretty well to it. And I think it's sort of like, you kind of have to zoom out of just me as a person and sort of take it as like a story of immigrants or a story of the American dream, and sort of make it more general as well, for it to not feel so I guess claustrophobic. You know what I mean?
Mhm. When you said American Dream was like you said that was the hardest one for you to put down. What?
Yeah.
Kind of give me the background of why you say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to it, it's just like a lot. It's like fucking 5 minutes of me trauma dumping, and I
Right.
like really it was like a very difficult time in my life. I think it was, yeah, I was just like really going through a lot, and it's super specific to my life, and it's super revealing. And you know, I was just like worried that if I drop it, people wouldn't get it or people would be really thrown off by it. But you know what's crazy is like that and Inner Child are like almost everybody's favorite songs, which I was like not expecting. Which is cool because those are like the pillars of the album. But yeah, everybody seems to be getting it, which is really cool. Or like the people that need to get it are getting it at least.
Yeah, I feel like even with I've had a lot of conversations with other artists that say that, like, you know, I didn't know if I even wanted to release this song, like it was too personal to me, and then that's the one that does so well or people really resonate with. I feel like it's a lot to do with just like the authenticity of it, and they know that you know, it's just you being vulnerable. I feel like that's why TikTok and social media works in certain ways where it's like if somebody comes on and they're like 100% honest and transparent about what they're doing and feeling, like that resonates more than somebody spending all this money and like putting the video in like Final Cut and like really editing it and making it all. It's like just something about the like
Yeah.
spontaneous, just kind of real raw of it all.
Mhm.
Yeah, to see that with, you know, certain songs. I mean, it sounds like with those two very personal songs on that album, that's what people are going, hey, those are my favorite ones. And it's like, well,
It's
yeah,
cool.
you're, you know, yeah.
Very cool. I'm happy about that.
That's awesome. Well, the record's awesome. Are you doing like a support for it, like as far as like a tour or anything?
We're you know, I don't know
Ah,
what moment, but you know, there's
something bubbling up.
yeah, of
Awesome, dude. Well, thank you again so much for doing this, Curtis. I appreciate your time.
course.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I love that. I love that. And I don't know if this is true either, but just the Curtis Waters is off like Ian Curtis. Like that's the first thing I
Yeah,
thought. I was like, oh, Ian Curtis. And I was even thinking about that in my head, but I didn't read anything like about you at the time. Just whenever I hear the name Curtis, I just think of Ian
yeah.
Curtis.
That's and even like songs like Manic Man were sort of inspired by like Joy Division and stuff like that, which is yeah, Ian Curtis. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Well, I have one more question for you. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Man, it's just I guess first of all, you gotta know what you want, right? Like why do you do music? If it's just to do it for fun, then don't worry about all the other shit, right? Like don't worry about what anyone's saying, don't worry about the numbers, just do it because it makes you want to live, right? But if you're trying to make it your career and you're trying to be this superstar or whatever, you can't listen to anyone. You just have to eat shit, you have to say fuck you to everyone. You have to like sleep on like fucking the floor. You have to travel, you have to do so much bullshit. Like it's so hard, but it's worth doing because if it's really in you, when you're like 40, you're gonna probably regret not doing it. So, you know, eat shit, dude. It'll be like the best shit you'll ever eat. It'll be good.